The aim of my project is explore the crossover between art, man, and machine. I hope to research and learn about future trends and how that will impact the creative industry as a whole. My knowledge of machine learning and AI before creative computing was very minimal and restrained, and therefore was my goal to discover a new point of view of the topic and hopefully inspire future projects. Art is a unique experience for every viewer, therefore creating an interactive art piece that changes person to person allows a truly distinctive moment that feels personal to them. After researching into relationship between man and machine, I decided that rather than taking a stance of opposition, there is an outcome that allows both to be harmonious and exist at once. Machines and technology can inspire new forms of creativity and expression. For example, digital tools and platforms have enabled the creation of new art forms and mediums such as digital painting, generative art, and interactive installations. Many artists and designers use digital tools as an integral part of their creative process, and some even use artificial intelligence and machine learning to generate new forms of art. In addition, the relationship between man and machine in the creative industry is also changing how we consume, share, and interact with the art, media, and entertainment. For example, the rise of streaming platforms like Netflix and YouTube, as well as social media platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook have enabled creators to reach a global audience and gain fame and financial success through their creative works. Each year, the Serpentine Gallery publishes an in-depth report of future trends that will affect the creative industry. Future Art Ecosystems FAE is an annual strategic briefing that provides analytical and conceptual tools for the construction of 21st century cultural infrastructure, the systems that support art and advanced technologies as a whole, and respond to a broader societal agenda. Released in October 2022, Vol. 3. ArtX Decentralized Tech discusses the platform of which art could be presented. It nuances the integration of digital and physical and how both sit in the future of each other's spaces. The Serpentine Arts Technologies team comments that while there is a rich dialogue around art's critical interventions into contemporary technologies such as AI, blockchain, and immersive technologies, and their mainstream narratives, a dedicated focus on operational and infrastructural conditions for supporting and developing art and advanced technologies has been largely lacking. This echoes the New Yorker's discussion of the rise of consumer digital technologies and the behaviors and expectations that they cultivate. There's a certain user-friendliness between the two worlds that makes art digestible and non-confrontational, which traditionally made art more admirable. This opens up a new discussion of art's lack of politics when it comes to immersive art exhibitions. During the social media age of group mirror selfies and twinkling lights, an art gallery is no more than a tag location regardless of its cultural and historical richness. Interactive art installations are a form of art that involve the viewer or participant in the creative process. These installations often use technology, such as sensors, cameras, and computers, to create an interactive experience that changes in response to the viewer's actions or presence. Interactive installations can take many forms, including sculpture, video, sound, light, and performance art. An example of this would be Yayoi Kusama's Infinity Mirrors at the Tate Modern, a must-see event that created hype through ticket exclusivity, the must-have accessory of the summer. Kusama's work discusses her struggles with mental health and her pursuit for unlimited freedom, yet it is reduced to a fit pic that will get 30 likes on Instagram. There's a steep incline of interest in new immersive art in contrast to traditional pieces in a gallery setting. Much like technology is preceding us as we are to orthodox art forms, our attention span wears thin and new generations crave quick and flashy. From selfie to self-expression. Selfies can be artistic, expressive, even political, and there are some examples of this in the exhibition, but all art is, when you boil it down, a form of self-expression, so this show may as well have included any artwork ever made. If the selfie really is art, why does it need examples from the past to make it stand up? And now with modern mobile phones, you don't have to be a painter or a photographer to create a self-portrait, because everybody has a camera. This has pushed me to question, would a physical computing outcome be considered a selfie? At what point of interaction or involvement would it be classified as a selfie? Regardless of my outcome, could anything I make be classed as a selfie? Within the exhibition, there is an interactive installation consisting of immersive projection on 4 walls, fed by 12 computerized surveillance systems. The piece uses facial recognition algorithms to detect the presence of participants and records their spatial relationship within the exhibition space. The installation is in a fluid state of camera movements, with cameras constantly zooming in on different visitors within the gallery and creating a non-stop changing animation. I personally like this idea of participation and look to further explore this as it brings up the idea of ownership within art. A supersonic sensor is a good choice for interactive installations because it can detect the presence of people or objects at a distance. This allows the installation to respond to the movement of people nearby, creating a dynamic and engaging experience. Supersonic sensors typically use sound waves to detect the distance, speed, or direction of an object, which makes them well suited for measuring distance and detecting motion. Additionally, supersonic sensors are relatively low cost, easy to use, and can be integrated into a wide range of projects. They also have a relatively long sensing range, which allows them to detect objects at a distance. This is especially useful in large installations where the movement of people needs to be detected over a wide area. Using ChatGPT, I generated a list of sensor-based ideas I could use as inspiration for my own project. Obstacle avoidance robot, using a supersonic sensor to detect obstacles and an Arduino to control the robot's movement. You can create a robot that can navigate around obstacles. Distance measuring device, using a supersonic sensor to measure distance and an Arduino to display the results on an LCD screen. You can create a device that can measure the distance to an object. Interactive installation, using multiple supersonic sensors and an Arduino to control lighting or other elements. You can create an interactive installation that changes in response to the movement of people nearby. Smart burglar alarm, using supersonic sensor to detect motion in a room and an Arduino to trigger an alarm or alert. Automated door opener, using a supersonic sensor to detect the presence of a person and an Arduino to control a servo motor that opens a door. Experimenting with coded digital art. Despite being successful as digital art, I was unable to edit the code of these specific projects and adapt it within the processing app. Furthermore, I looked into finding pre-existing digital art and applying the knowledge I already had regarding supersonic sensors to produce an interactive, hypothetical art installation that uses the viewer to produce the art. After experimenting with moving image, IT solidified my idea of producing an interactive installation using a supersonic sensor. This installation would have people in the gallery space become a part of the project and therefore becoming a part of the art. I have taken inspiration from Geometric Spiraling Points, a project by McCaslin, A. That is a web-based design that tracks where you are on the page and based on coordinates changes the design of what's being displayed, e.g. the morphing shapes. Using the code of a project that is interactive using the mouse tracker function, I was able to connect the supersonic sensor and Arduino to the processing app. My code reads the values of the sensor depending on the distance of the viewer and changes shapes, movement, and line based on the participant's interaction. Here you can see in the side by side of the values erratically changing along with the speed and thickness of line. I have produced a hypothetical final outcome that lives within a gallery setting. It demonstrates what my project would look like given that there were no constraints of time, space, or money. Please feel free to touch the art. In reflection of what I would do different if I was to produce this project again, I would prioritize better planning and organization from the beginning. I would also make sure to allocate more time for testing and adapting code to ensure a smoother final outcome, as I felt I was pressured for time towards the deadline. I will carry forward the concept of pre-planning each element of the project and create a checklist, as I believe I wasn't able to efficiently fulfill each idea I had without being stressed for time. It was my hopes that I'd be able to use multiple interactive pieces of art, rather than the one to have a longer project and have multiple visuals. Despite this, I have thoroughly enjoyed producing this project, as it has tested my abilities to imagine ideas outside of my usual creative mediums and pushed me to experiment with software I am not too confident in, such as the processing app. Overall, I am pleased with the final outcome, and as a personal goal, I have surpassed what I expected I would be able to create, which I am quite proud of, as my lack of confidence was holding me back at the beginning of this project.